The Mac Mini M1. I've been looking at getting one of these for a while, but I wasn't sure with the compatibility with Ableton Live 11, which is not officially M1 supported, so it uses Rosetta. But I decided to get an M1. This is refurbished, and the baseline 8GB 256 hard drive, which was only like $589 or something, super cheap. So let's get into the performance. So I just have the demo song loaded up here in Ableton, and let's just play it and see what's going on here. So one thing to note is that I have QuickTime recording the screen, and I have Audacity recording too. So there's a couple of programs open. I also have an activity monitor open. Up here we can notice that we're about in the 40s, 50% CPU usage, with the CPU meter and the hard drive meter flashing occasionally. Not too bad. Note that this is at 128 samples, the lowest low latency samples, which is great. It is running completely smooth. This is 29 tracks, which is quite a bit of stuff going on. They are all Ableton plugins and effects, so that is probably helpful, but it's not too bad. It runs smoothly, and in all the tests that I've done and all the production I've done, it's worked pretty good. And even using third-party plugins, it's worked good. So I think it is actually really good for Ableton Live. And I hope at some point Ableton releases native Apple Silicon support for it, which would make it amazing, honestly. But until then, it's actually really good, and even with all this other stuff running, it's still great. So for comparison, I have the same exact demo song loaded up on a 2012 MacBook Pro 15-inch, and let's just play it and see what's looking at. So right away we can see we're at 62% CPU usage with the CPU overload meter on. That went down to 30-something percent, so that's all right. So yeah, it's running almost the same. Granted, this doesn't have any other applications open. It's just Ableton. So if you're thinking about getting a Mac Mini for music production, it's a good machine. Honestly, for the price, you really can't beat it. If you use Logic, there's no reason not to get it. If you use Ableton, it's pretty much as good as your Intel machine right now, I'm guessing. But it probably will get better once Ableton updates and adds support. Some nice things about the Mac Mini is that it's very compact, it's sleek, it looks nice, it's simple. It also has two USB Type-A ports that are nice and fast on the back. Those are very useful. And it has two USB-C ports, which is great because the new MacBook Air and the new MacBook Pro baseline have two USB-C ports, and one of those you have to use for charging. I don't understand what this is all about, but I need some ports, and the Mac Mini got me covered. Has the HDMI on there, it even has Ethernet, which is good. Also, I have the baseline 8GB 256 model, and honestly, this is plenty. I use an external Thunderbolt SSD for all my storage. I have a terabyte on there, and it works great. There's really a lot packed into the Mac Mini. For Apple's cheapest computer, you're getting a lot of computer. So far, my initial impressions with the M1 architecture is that it's just very fast. It's snappy, it's smooth, it works with everything that I've thrown at it, and I'm pretty impressed. It's also very quiet, which is great for audio recording purposes. My 2012 MacBook Pro gets very loud when I'm doing prolonged processor intensive recording and stuff on it. But the Mac Mini, I haven't even heard the fan start spinning up at a higher RPM once. It is dead quiet, which is wonderful for recording music. I'm happy with it. I think it's actually a great computer. I also use it with DaVinci Resolve. It works really well, and everything I've used it with, it works great. So Ableton 11 does work with the Mac Mini M1. Though it's not amazing, it still is really solid, and I would recommend a Mac Mini if you are interested in getting one.